starting out the week, not everything, but a lot of things got a lot greener after all of the weekend, all the news over the weekend. It's like, if you're a DC reporter and your job is to cover the White House, 4 years ago, you had a part-time job. Now you're making up for it because stuff is happening all the time. And so especially for the tech industry, things have gotten a lot better here since the bottoms for the year that happened about a month ago, a little bit more than a month ago. We hit year-to-date lows for the markets, and now here we are in some areas getting close to year-to-date highs once again. Again, what's going on? What's pushing the markets this week? Well, Trump's continuing to work past the week, and a few things that came out of the weekend. We're going to discuss that. Trueflation numbers came out, and we are continuing to contract from those highs, meaning that inflation seems to be continuing to drop lower. And even technical indicators, which I'm going to share with you, seem bullish, but the markets are still showing a little bit of uncertainty. Because, you take a look at all the news that popped out this week. For instance, the Dow was immediately up over 1,000 points. And it went to as high, and I'm talking about what I see from the screens behind me. We were up 1,050 points on the Dow, maybe 1,100. And now as I'm looking at us, we dropped back down. We were down I think we were down to where we were up 800. Now we're up 900. Again, we're taking that first hour or two of the day, which is really a lot of people are just getting pushed around. It's the afternoon session that helps determine momentum in the market. And so that's the part that I want to share with you, and we want to talk about that. There is uncertainty. There's going to be uncertainty in certain areas more than others. Let's go ahead and just quickly go over news and then where I see all this going. Well, we know that China is getting a total reset. Tariffs have been reduced, for the next 90 days to 10% as the larger deal is hammered out. This is happening on both sides, folks. That's what's pushing the markets higher this morning. And Trump popped out yesterday with his latest truth, as he calls it, and I think that was on Truth being Truth Social, that he's now setting a 30-day deadline for drug makers to lower prices to what I believe is the lowest price of any country around the world. RFK came out this morning and said that we represent 75% of the consumer base for the pharmaceutical index. Why are we paying the most prices? And so they're making a concerted effort to get these drug prices lower. I think it's going to take more than an executive order, but hey, what do I know? What I do know is the markets are jumping on all of this news. Trueflation. Now, these are the inflation numbers by Trueflation, which started moving up when we injected a lot of liquidity when we were paying out stimulus checks back in 2021. And the highest we reached was mid-2022. We saw a drop in 2023, but Trueflation has us, if you go all the way to this chart on the right, you'll see January, February, March numbers, January, February, March, April numbers, flatlining and coming down to new lows that we have not seen. You have to go back to 2020 to see the Trueflation lows that we see here. This is also net positive for the markets. That leads to this chart. All right, so many of you may not know that there are prediction models out there that folks are betting on now. In fact, Robinhood is leading the way with a lot of this. And one of the prediction models is, what's the chances of a recession? You can buy and sell based on this. This has dropped from 70%. Oh gosh, this was only a couple weeks ago. We were at near the end of April. 70% chance of a recession. That has now dropped down to 40%. In fact, a lot of this drop just happened in the last day or two. And so this, again, pushing the markets higher. Here we are, SPY. Now, I put some notes on here because I want to make sure that you see exactly what I see. Long-term low back there at 2020, in the 2022 area, that was the bottom. The peak that we had earlier this year, that was on Inauguration Day, we had a 50% pullback in literally a couple of months from above 600 to below 500. We have recouped most of that, okay? And this chart's coming into Friday. This chart, this pullback, we saw a big high We had not seen a high in volume. We hadn't seen a high like this. You got to go back to the beginning of 2022 before you see a volume push that really kind of showed that big turnaround spike that happened. Volume has come off. That's bullish. As long as we don't get really super low in volume, then I would expect this market to continue higher. USO, nothing. Last week I talked about USO being caught in a 15-point trading range. It's still there. Nothing except the fact that we're bouncing off the lows here, looking more to the bear side. The bull side, gold. I mentioned that 375 was going to be a target. This is a weekly chart. Last week I showed you a daily, and it really just confirms that gold really wants to move higher. Although you do see the reaction for today, that is a knee-jerk reaction. We would have to go, I believe, decisively below where we are now. We'd have to get around the 250 area before I would start to change my tone on gold. All right. And I did a chart on the S&P even coming into the weekend before the big jump today, or even coming into, this weekend. The buy and hold crowd was down about 2% year to date. Now, seasonality has actually done very, very well, even despite the big moves where we were down double digits about this time last month. Money calendar was up. We got 2-to-1 profits to losses, despite all the volatility, despite all the sell-off. And if you're interested in how we're doing this, I have a May special. Those of you that have never tried Money calendar before, we're going to give you that May special. Links are below. All right, and this is for watching this particular, being a Tom's Trading Room member here and catching us on our live trade Monday. Okay, Money Calendar Pro offer for May. Links are below. In summary, here's what we're seeing. The U.S.-China 90-day truce, very positive. Okay, we got a lot of good reaction from the markets today. We did not get the pullback all the way back to zero as many people expected. That didn't happen. Now, there's still a lot of hours left in the day today, but as of right now, looks like things are very bullish for stocks, for most commodities, and of course for cryptocurrency. The risks on this is that, just like everything, the devil's in the details. And the devil's in the details for the U.S.-China agreement, so we'll see what happens in the next 90 days. The unknown, and here's the unknown that I want to make known for you. The advanced decline line right now on all New York Stock Exchange stocks is hitting new all-time highs as we speak. All right, last time we did that was over 100 days ago, and so this is also bullish. And of course, we're leaning into the month of May. The month of May is not sell in May and go away. I've said this before. It is buy in May and make money today.